Fishy, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you like my hat?
Why?
Yeah, I thought I'd have a hat so when I stood up I can have this, and when I go to crouch, see? Hood. Stealth mode. No, fuck it, I prefer this.
So, Assassin's Creed is a game franchise littered with illogical and sometimes ridiculous things. And instead of a repetitive speculation series or something, I decided I wanted to make a series on something that no one else is doing. A series dedicated to questioning Assassin's Creed logic. And the overall goal of this series is to point out all of the things that don't need to be in Assassin's Creed and make little to no sense. So it sort of is speculation in its own magically demented way. The main reason though is to entertain you.
Something you're desperately failing at right now then.
So as I was saying, the main reason of this series is to entertain you. Why am I pointing in that direction? So in this video, where better to start than let's question the stealth logic. And I've hinted at the specific problem a good couple of times already. So what doesn't make sense about the stealth? Well, let's look at the recent entry to the franchise, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. In that, when you went into stealth mode, you pulled off your hat and pulled up your hood. Now, the explanation was that it was to indicate that you're in stealth mode. There is no point in this. I think the fact that you're fucking bent over does that, right, doesn't it? Who sat there at the meeting, like when they were discussing this game, and said, I think that when Jacob is stood up, he should have his hood down, and in its place, he should have a top hat. Introduce that sorry bastard to the lovely concept of defenestration. Yes, that is a fancy word for the action of throwing someone or something out of a window. My favourite pastime. There is no way you can suggest improvements for this stupid little thing, besides from removing it. Let's move on to something that really does break the immersion a little bit. How blending is executed. This is basically what I mean. He's standing staring right at me, looking for someone to be following him, and I'm blending by standing near a group of people sitting down when I'm standing up. Now, the definition of blending is two or more different things or substances mixing. So, you know, if standing next to somebody is not blending with them, standing next to somebody is standing next to somebody. In blending, you should interact with people. Make it look like your agenda is elsewhere besides from in that tailing mission. You know what, save us a headache, just scrap tailing missions. I could probably make an entire video on tailing missions in this series. But there is no reason for standing around near a crowd to help you blend. I mean, if it's a crowd of people stood up and you're right in the middle of it, that would make sense. Especially in recent years where crowds have become denser. Also, sitting on benches works, I suppose. It's not necessarily going to hide you very well. Maybe have you interact with the person next to you or something. But it works okay, I suppose. I think that in improving this area, you'll also be improving the immersion value of the overall game. So an all-round win, really. Okay, let's talk about noise and how that affects stealth. From my findings, it really doesn't. I mean, sometimes people get suspicious if they hear a gunshot or something, but sometimes it's a loud noise or something, and they don't seem to be remotely bothered by it. Like, you could drop and roll with a massive grunt into a bush and they wouldn't turn around and listen. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that noise and speed doesn't seem to affect the stealth system and your detection. I mean, luckily speed, which is needed sometimes in stealth, but noise should definitely affect it a little bit more. Like, sometimes you could drop down, roll and grunt into a bush, like I said before, and they won't even notice, when in reality they should turn around and look around because you've made a bit of a reckless movement, haven't you? So therefore the stealth is a little bit harder. But the last thing you want them to do is overdo the difficulty of stealth, and I feel as if this point is a bit grasping at straws because it probably would improve the difficulty of stealth, well, make the difficulty a lot worse. But overall, guys, I think that these points are minor for a reason, and that's the point of the series, really, is to bring the minor things to relevance, because every little thing is going to affect the final game of Assassin's Creed Empire or whatever. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to comment suggestions for episode 2 of this series, And I'll see you all in the next one, so yeah. So